I've got these nuts that have been laying around for a long time and they haven't gotten any use, but I know what I'm gonna do with them because this time on Jairus Evolve, I'm making a pen out of the nuts and I'm selling it on eBay. Links in the description. Quite some time ago, I made a nut pen for a no lathe pen challenge. And I used steel nuts and I welded them together and I really liked that pen, but I wanted to do one out of brass because I really
love gold.
I'm hoping that I can just solder it together. But this first one, actually making two, is a test to see if it's possible to just throw some flux on it and then solder it together with lead-free solder. Know what size drill bit a 1/4-20 thread fits over? Number 5 machinist bit, which is what I put all of the nuts on so that they stay aligned when I heat them with the torch and then hit them with silver solder. And I had a surprisingly difficult time finding out if you can actually stick brass together with this, but it's mostly copper and this is made to stick copper together, so I figured why not at least give it a shot. And I think it'll look cool with silver in between the layers of gold. I don't know what to look for to know if it's ready. Maybe when it turns brown like that? It's sweating. They're red and still not doing anything. It's not going in that crack. It does not want to go in. Go in the joint. This is not working. I figured it would be as easy as soldering wires together because of the materials I'm using, but obviously it's not. I think I'm gonna have to consult the hive mind on this one and figure out a new plan.
The next day.
I like to figure things out myself, so before I went to the internet, I tried some experiments, none of which worked, using a bunch of different solders and fluxes, and it was all the same result, wouldn't stick. So I looked on the internet, and it's a really funny thing that all of the results that I got at first show how much advertising affects the information that you're fed, because it told me that I had to buy specific products to do brass and nothing else would work. And then I found the actual answer and realized how stupid I was being, because I knew how to do this in the first place. You have to have a very clean surface, which means you have to sand off the invisible oxide layer that develops on brass when it sits for an amount of time. Then, when it's perfectly clean like that, you can put flux on, solder it, and it works just like when you're doing copper wire. So, lead-free solder, a little bit of flux, I can make them stick together. So the new process is sand one side, flux, solder to tin that face. Then the process repeats for the other side, and then they'll be stacked on the bit and I don't have to add solder. And then I can heat the entire stack and they will sink into each other and solder together. It worked, and this is my nut tube, and this will be the body of the pen. But these nuts need to go on this screw, and I want them to be lined up and look like they're all soldered together and have some of the threads sticking out so that it can screw into this and be the cap. I have these three lined up now. I switched which face is up on them, and then I changed their order until I got them to screw together tight on the screw and have the faces lined up so that it matches the nut tube. Now I just need to solder these together the same way that I did my nut tube. The nut screw is cooled off, and all I have to do is screw it into the nut tube, but it does not line up. So I planned for this, and I have some extra solder on this surface that I can sand off, so that when this is turned in tight, they line up. First try. On the first nut pen that I did, I used putty epoxy for the tip, and I just formed in a little ink cartridge from another pen. But this time the ink cartridge that I got had a pen holder with a real shiny silver tip that almost fits. So I'm gonna drill it out and anchor that in place. But this tip is super shiny and I don't wanna mess it up. So I'm gonna polish this part up first before I put that in. This drill bit right here gave me a very close fit, and I think I might be able to just squish this into place. Just gonna give it a little tappy tap tap. There she is. Time to finish it with the ink, but it's a little too long. At least I'm pretty sure it will be. Yeah, sticks out a little. Trim it. It's finished and it writes really nice and I like it a lot, but while I was making this, I had an idea to make one differently and a lot cooler. Probably the one that you saw in the thumbnail. Don't know what I'm gonna do with this. You want it? Problem is, I don't have any more pens to steal the ink cartridges out of, so it's time to go to the store.
Nope. Yeah.
Too expensive.
No.
Think.
So, when I was making the first one and I was getting everything ready and aligned on the drill, the nuts were just randomly all over the place instead of being aligned, and I lined them up. But when they were randomly situated, I thought that looked even cooler, which is what I'm gonna do on this one, with a custom tip filled with these fancy ink cartridges. First change, this one's fine, fits in your hand all right, but I'd like my nut tube to be longer. But the drill bit's not long enough to do that, so I'm gonna use this metal rod. I'm gonna sand and flux these just like last time, but then to get that random orientation, I'm gonna put them on and spin them and let them fall wherever they want, and that's how I'll get my random pattern. Random pattern, spring-loaded. Now I'll hit them with the torch and they'll together. Since the rest of the pen is made out of fasteners, the tip and the tail should be also. So the one thing that I really have to do accurately is drill out these grub screws that are gonna make up the inside of the tip. One to match the thicker diameter of the pen cartridge and one to match the tip. And these copper washers that I have are a size too small because I want to drill them very accurately to fit around the threads so that I can shave it down real far and I still have that cool little copper ring in the finished product. I'm gonna polish the tip of my nut tube with the drill, because if I was gonna sit here and do this by hand, I'd be rubbing it all day. This turned out really well, and I'm selling this one on eBay, but I liked it so much, I made an identical one for myself. Not only can you own one of my projects, but we could be pen pals.
That's not how it works.
And this looks so good, I made a fancy custom box to showcase it. The eBay auction for this is live right now, but it's not gonna last long. So if you wanna own it, the link is in the description below the video. It's a good way to help out the channel. You can also join my Patreon or subscribe and turn on notifications so you catch videos right when they come out. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.